how do you get a copy of a police report in Washington State? Is that a situation that applies to you? Are you just curious about it? Are you trying to get a report? Do you wonder if someone can get a report about you? Well, if so, this is the video for you. In this video, I'm going to cover 3 things. 1, what is the general process for trying to get a police report from any law enforcement agency? Number 2, what are some responses you might get back from that request, and what do they mean for the most part? And number 3, when you get the request back, what should you expect to be there, and what should you not expect to be there? So my name is Lance Fryrear, and I'm a criminal defense attorney in Lynnwood, Washington. We've been defending people charged with crimes for more than 20 years. And I've been putting out these videos for informational purposes for the public because, let's face it, there's not a lot of information out there when you're just looking for, recent and hopefully useful information about criminal law, criminal justice, stuff like that. So if you find this video useful, please like the video and please subscribe. It helps get more people this type of information. So now I'm going to just jump right into it. How do you get a police report? Or how do people get police reports? How do the press always comes up with reports. How do they do it? Well, there's something called a public disclosure request. And each law enforcement agency has their own system for a member of the public to request access to those public records. In my office, our paralegal does all the requesting. So sometimes there's a web link. Most of the time you can do it online. Sometimes there's a form you have to send in. It depends on the law enforcement agency. But basically, you fill out a request saying who you are, of course, what it is you're looking for, which means, I want any report involving my neighbor, Mr. Smith, for the last 6 months. And then you have to put as much information as you can. Mr. Smith has this name, this address. I want all the reports regarding a certain address for the last 3 months. I want all the reports generated by this officer for a period of time. There's a lot you can request. So you fill it out and you follow the procedures for the law enforcement agency involved. And usually you can look online to find it. If you're not sure what to do, call up the law enforcement agency. What do I mean by law enforcement agency? The police department involved. And you'd be surprised, but you can request reports in that way. So number 2, what are some responses that you'll get back when you do a public disclosure request, and what do they mean in general? So the agency that you're requesting the records from is supposed to give you a response within 5 days of letting you know how long it's going to take to respond. They don't have to give you the information in 5 days, the reports, because they're swamped. Some agencies can get it to you in a day, and some are going to take a month or months to get it to you. And so you'll usually initially get some response saying how long it's going to take. And then once there is a substantive response, it could be, we don't have any responsive records, which means whatever you asked for, they don't have, or in the way that you asked for it, they can't find it. They could say, hey, we're going to deny your request because it's an active investigation. The public policy basically says that if the police are actively investigating something, they don't have to hand out reports to the public, because that would mess up their investigation. The suspect could see what was written and be one step ahead of the police. So if you get denied because there's an active investigation, that means you'll likely need to re-request that public disclosure request later, because at some point the police will finish their investigation and submit their reports to prosecutors. Once the police have completed their investigation and submitted reports to prosecutors, at that point, you should be able to get something back from the police. You could also get a response that if the request involves a minor, that you would need a special waiver from that person. We've seen that at times. And then you may also get back the actual records you've requested. And you had to pay for them. There's a cost to everything in life, of course, but it's usually a copying fee per page. So you'll eventually say, hey, we have these records, but you need to send us this amount of money before we're going to release them. That's generally how it works. And then moving on to number 3. And so thanks for watching this long. Number 3, what should you expect to get back and what shouldn't you expect? Well, you won't get back any identifiers of minors. All minors' names will be blacked out. You won't get back any photos of minors, stuff like that. We need to protect the young people in the world. You will also not get back like work product. If there's communication from the prosecutor back to the police, that'll often be blacked out. And you generally won't get back videos and things like that without really special request. Oftentimes, recordings won't be included. That's also another special request. But what you should expect to get back is a police report. That'll have most everything that you care about there. Sometimes it has everything you care about there. And oftentimes it'll be in digital form nowadays. You'll get a PDF, and in some cases it'll still be done through the mail. If you think you're missing something, if something's not there, then make a more specific request. Go through the process again. So you can get records on events and people. If people know how to ask the right questions, they can try to get records on you if they exist. It applies for everybody. So I hope you find this useful. If so, again, please like and please subscribe. It helps us get the information out there. And if you have a situation where you're charged with a crime or you wonder about things, sometimes we can do public disclosure requests for people if they're worried about an investigation. Give us a call. We've been defending people charged with crimes for more than 20 years all throughout Washington State. And we'll listen to what's going on. We'll see if we're a good match to help you. And if so, we'll do everything we can. We'll be there for you. Thank you.